I thought it was given to me because I'd been told by a number of board members that I was the best manager in the company and that the music division needed help. I'm not sure that was the case. So things got very complex. And, you know, I thought the company had serious problems, and I said to board members that if we didn't have some strength around Jerry Levin, that the company would be in serious trouble. And if you talk to one board member, even if he's a close friend, it has a way of seeping to another friend and whatever. And anyway, so my career came to an end, not because HBO was a failure, and quite honestly, not because music was a failure. I moved into music when music was beginning to go like this. And it went all the way down and out. I'd like to think I could have done a better job than was done, but that's besides the point. The day I came in, literally, to that job, was the day the rap thing burst, in terms of it becoming an issue. There was a woman whose name I don't remember now, an African-American woman who put herself out as some leader, and William Bennett joined up. And they attacked Time Warner, maybe because we'd had an incident earlier with Ice-T with Cop Killer, which I thought the company handled itself very poorly because we invoked First Amendment, which has nothing to do with a private public company. I mean, First Amendment's your rights, that the government can't encroach on your rights. So it was, so maybe they said these guys are an easy touch. And they took off after us, and the board instructed me to sell Interscope. Interscope had death row. Now, the fact was that Interscope had one of these Warner joint ventures structure, a structure, I believe, invented by David Geffen, that probably was the roots of David's great wealth. And it was a deal that was great for the independent producer and terrible for us. So even though Interscope did well from a hits point of view, and you know, Jimmy Iovine still is maybe the #1 hit maker in the music business, because of the nature of the deal, the structure of the deal, and the other labels, Atlantic, Warner Brothers, they were complaining because they were outbidding our labels for acts, and we only own 50% of it. So I looked at the economics. The board tried to say, sell it at any cost, get rid of it, you know. And I guess my 7-8 months in music was a microcosm of my management style, moving furniture around and facing head on to the power brokers, and whether it be all the lawyers, you know, I was gonna remake this music company in my old image, what I did at HBO, and what I didn't really think, I didn't have a lot of time to think. That business was 60 years old. It had lots of traditions, lots of history. Some of it was not history that we should have been proud of. HBO was a baby. It was easy to do that. But I wasn't afraid to try to do that, and I think it was the right thing to do, but what I didn't have was my management support. I was about to get stabbed in the back, and so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I remember leaving the board meeting and saying, this is great, sell it at any, you know. And when I looked at the deal, it was so convoluted anyway. It seemed very strange to me. I asked someone who worked on the deal, and he said, listen, that's not the deal that I recommended. Somehow it became that. So in the music business, there's always a lot of intrigue and a lot of stuff going on. So I did sell it. I got a fair price. We got our money back. We didn't make a killing when you have to sell something. But I remember at one point, I had talked about a lower price, and then I reneged. There was a big meeting. I said, I'm sorry, that's not the right price. This is going to be the price. Everyone put on a show like no one had ever reneged on them before. I said, where do you think I've been for 20 years? A butcher downtown? I said, no one's ever reneged? I said, that's not your reputation, and that's not, you know, don't even start with me on that, you know, otherwise we have nothing to talk about. So it was, you know, Alan, you know, Skip Brittenham, Bert Fields. It was like a, you know, the murderer's row. I said, that's that. And, you know, in some ways, I think the music business was glad to see me go.